Well, this is the end of the day, first day of the Everglades Challenge. It's actually Sunday morning, very early. I know you can't see anything, but I just wanted to record a few thoughts. The day started off very wild and brisk with some very wild sailing, some of the roughest sailing I had ever experienced, actually. The wind was from the south and the southeast, so I made very slow progress towards the south. I sailed in company with the boat and crew of Oracle and one other boat. When I stopped to fix my rig and do a few other things, they pulled ahead and they gradually disappeared over the horizon. I was tacking, I must have got out maybe 6 nautical miles or so, and I was uncomfortable with that, it being so rough, so I headed back to the shore, and the wind dropped and we entered a period of doldrums, probably about an hour or two of doldrums. Then the wind came back and I was actually able to maintain a southeast course and made progress at about 4 knots for a couple of hours, which looked really good. And then the doldrums came back again, and the rest of the day I made progress at about 2 knots and under on the sail, and I must have paddled maybe 3 hours. I finally pulled into Venice Inlet probably around midnight. The current coming out of the inlet was so tough that I wasted an hour trying to get into it. I am now anchored to the north of Venice Inlet. There's a bunch of mangroves about 1,000 feet to my left. You can hear the water, the surf washing into it. I'm probably anchored in about 15 feet of water. I'm a little nervous about where the breaker line might be when the low tide comes, but I'm going to sleep tonight in my Gore-Tex jacket and fleece and my pants and my waterproof pants and my wool hat, so I'll be in emergency mode so I can get up and get out of here if I have to. It's pretty warm, so I should be alright. I'll wrap up also in my poncho and put a pair of rubber socks on for my wetsuit. I had one minor tragedy, one medium tragedy, and one major tragedy today, which might destroy my effort. The first one was I lost my Petzl headlamp, which is a very useful tool. You're kind of lost without it, looking with your little headlamp. The other thing I lost was my good paddles. Now I only have one paddle, my short paddle, and the worst thing of all, my rudder fell off. In fact, I know where it fell off. It fell off coming into Venice Inlet. I heard the clunk. The bolt must have come undone, and that's that. If I can't steer, I can't finish this event. I do have an emergency steering oar, which was meant simply to get me back to shore if something had happened to my rudder out at sea. Broken rudders have been a sort of a legendary end to many of an Everglades challenge contestant, and I guess I'm no different. I might be able to jury rig a rudder, I don't know. I have a tiny saw with me, much too tiny to saw through the fiberglass covered pine seat I have here. I could make like a kind of a barn door rudder, screw it to my rudder cheek piece. The problem is that in an effort to keep my weight down, I didn't bring too many tools. I brought a tiny saw, I brought a 1/4-inch hand drill. I would need a tiny drill to start pilot holes for the screws. I did carry a few screws. All the spare parts I brought aren't appropriate for building a new rudder. So, I don't know. Winds tomorrow are going to be out of the south, and then in the afternoon they'll turn west, which would have been great, but the deadline tomorrow is noontime at the checkpoint, although they expect everyone will be late. Chief passed me around, I suppose, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock today, and he mentioned that there were a lot of people behind me, and all the sailors, and they were also having problems too. I might try to make it to Chokoloskee, but I don't know if I can make it with my stubby little rudder that I have left. I can try the steering oar, see how that works. In south wind with a lot of tacking, that would suck pretty bad. But Chokoloskee is a good bailout point. You can sometimes get a ride back to Tampa from there. So I think that's going to be my plan, even if I have to leave late when the wind is west, which would make my sailing easier. This sucks really bad. I'm feeling very down. I'm totally exhausted. I spent about 17 hours at the helm today and about 3 hours of that paddling on sleep deprivation, and I am destroyed. I'm going to lay down in my cockpit and try to get some rest and decide tomorrow morning after breakfast and coffee what I'm going to do.